the last day of 2013. Can you believe it? Wow! The year flew by so quickly, and despite the challenges it may have brought, we as Jamaicans have a lot for which to give thanks. Welcome to this New Year's Eve edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams, so happy you could join us. Coming up in the program today, a look at the government's initiatives to protect the most vulnerable. Plus, we explore why people set New Year's resolutions each year and hear from some Jamaicans about what they hope to achieve in 2014. All this and more right after the news. We'll soon be back.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
Good day, I'm Andrea Chisholm, and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, December 31, or last of 2013. The Education Ministry says a meeting held Monday to resolve the matter of principals participating in a mandated training program was successful. School board chairmen were summoned to the meeting following Education Minister Ronald Thwaite's recent declaration to Parliament that the ministry would take steps to ensure that principals complied with the training of the National College for Educational Leadership (NCEL). Minister Thwaites had reported that many principals from schools deemed to be underperforming had not been participating. At Monday's meeting, the board chairs expressed disappointment with the actions of their principals. They gave a commitment to conduct their own investigations to determine what may have contributed to the non-compliance and said it was expected that their principals would become compliant by the end of January. And still on education, the Portfolio Minister says several strategies are to be employed in 2014 to improve mathematics performance among primary and secondary students. Minister Ronald Thwaite says based on current performance levels, the target of 85% mastery among grade 4 students will not be met by the year 2015. The same is true for some other targets which have now been pushed back to 2018.
We would no doubt have to adjust the target of 85% of the candidates sitting CSEC or an equivalent examination and attaining a pass in mathematics. Now we're 26 percentage points below the first target, and we are 43% points away from the second target, which is the CSEC one. We must strive to get as close to these targets as we can over the next 2 years.
Minister Thwaites was speaking at a recent mathematics teachers conference. To improve performance levels, he says 50 mathematics specialists will be recruited and placed in schools that are having the most difficulties. The ministry is also committed to sourcing $150 million in additional resources next fiscal year to advance the National Mathematics Project. Residents of Darliston, Westmoreland are one step closer to accessing improved health care in their own Center of Excellence. Phase 1 of the upgrading project was recently completed at a cost of $25 million.
Community members will be able to access services including pharmacy, dental, diagnostic services, medicine, obstetrics and gynecology, pediatrics, dermatology.
The facility was officially reopened to the public on December 20 following extensive work on the roof, walkways, fencing, sanitary facilities, waiting areas, and staff accommodation.
In addition, 3 office spaces were created for environmental health, areas for maternal and child health services, and we also had 4 clinical areas put in place. Nurses station, waiting room for play area, community health aid room, staff and patient room, bathrooms, immunization storage rooms, among the improvement.
Additional work costing a total of $75 million will be done to make Darliston a center of excellence. Cabinet has approved the public-private partnership transaction structure for a Port Community System (PCS) and the issuing of requests for proposals to pre-qualified parties. The implementation of the system will improve the ease of doing business in Jamaica and is in keeping with efforts to develop a global cargo transshipment and logistics hub.
The Port Community System is an electronic platform which connects multiple systems operated by the various public and private organizations within the port community as a single, shared, and organized window which will optimize, manage, and automate smooth port and logistics processes.
Information Minister Senator Sandra Faulkner says Cabinet also approved the structuring of a public-private partnership PPP model for the operation of the Kingston Container Terminal KCT. This is in keeping with efforts to grant a long-term concession to a global terminal operator with the necessary experience, market linkages, and capital to operate and expand the KCT.
There are 3 firms which qualified for the right to participate in the request for proposal. The qualified bidders are the Port of Singapore, the Terminal Link Consortium, and Dubai Ports.
Senator Faulkner says the next step is to issue confidential memorandum and the request for proposal. And finally, the Tourism Ministry is moving to secure more investment in the sector. Portfolio Minister Dr. Wickham McNeil says significant investment is needed to improve and expand the tourism product.
We need more investment, we need more rooms, we need more product. There are certain times in the year that it's very challenging to get rooms.
Minister McNeil was addressing a function held on Sunday to celebrate the arrival of the 2 millionth visitor to the island. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Thank you for watching.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub.
A topical subject on the minds of many Jamaicans. What exactly is the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative?
Logistics is the process by which businesses manage the flow of goods, services, people, information, energy, and other resources through the entire supply chain from source to end users.
The various components of the hub will allow Jamaica to capitalize on the increased trade expected to flow through the region when the Panama Canal expansion is completed in 2016.
We are not saying by that all of the project would have been finished. We are saying that there's a core set of projects and programs that must be implemented.
The Jamaica Logistics Hub, a plan in action to increase trade and grow the economy.
As we head into a new year, it's always good to look back on some of our accomplishments. In 2013, our government made major strides to assist the most vulnerable around us, including the less fortunate, the poor, elderly, and disabled. Let's find out more about those initiatives.
Protecting the most vulnerable among us, the poor, our children, our senior citizens, persons with disabilities, is our central concern as we go for growth and development and seek to unleash our full potential.
And that's exactly what priority number 5 of the government's strategic priorities for the 2013-2014 budgetary year has been doing. Creating an environment in which every Jamaican has equal access to public goods and are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. The government has already begun to take strategic steps to ensure effective social inclusion for all. This includes social protection for the most vulnerable, equal access to housing solutions, and incorporating gender in development.
A unique combination of projects will be developed to provide social and economic protection and security for you and your families.
Already the government has redesigned its Rural Economic Development Initiatives READY program, the Steps to Work program, and the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH, giving those at greatest risk first preference. The government has also been making strides in combating child labor through its Tackling Child Labor Through Education TACKLE project. On the legislative side of things, the Disabilities Bill and the revised National Policy for Senior Citizens are to be promulgated this year to protect vulnerable groups. Meanwhile, a bill amending the Trafficking in Persons Act was passed by the House of Representatives on July 9 this year. And to show its unequivocal support to initiatives benefiting the most vulnerable in society, the government increased the budget for social protection programs to $4 billion in the 2013-2014 fiscal year.
Thanks to you, we here can say bye-bye rent, mortgage now.
And the government stands committed to giving even more low-income earning Jamaicans access to owning their own homes. A wide range of housing projects have begun, with more expected to get underway during the fiscal year. They include the Barracks Relocation Project for sugar workers, the First Step Homes Program, the resuscitation of the Inner City Housing Program, National Housing Trust schemes, and projects under the Housing Agency of Jamaica. Having an effective and efficient local government system that's responsive to the needs of the people it serves has long been a goal of the government, and it's closer to becoming a reality within this fiscal year. Local government reform is being fast-tracked and bolstered by several bills. They include the Building Bill and the bill entrenching local government into the Constitution, and there are other ways the government is ensuring an effective local government framework.
The key plank of the reform agenda is the promulgation of the 3 strategic laws: the Local Governance Act, the Local Government Financing and Financial Act, and the Local Government Unified Services and Employment Act.
The government, through the local authorities, has been assisting the most destitute in their respective parishes. Parish infirmaries have been rehabilitated and upgraded. Additionally, all parishes now have a program for the homeless, and a comprehensive model program for the homeless is also being worked on. The poor will also be protected through the collection of property tax. Under the reactivated property tax special discretionary relief program, the poor will get well-needed relief.
Equality of opportunities is the indisputable hallmark of this government.
The administration continues to advance plans to give men and women equal access to state resources. With the national policy for gender equality now a reality, government through the Bureau of Women's Affairs, the BWA, is working on mainstreaming gender in all spheres of public life. This is being done through a public awareness campaign being undertaken by the Jamaica Information Service. In addition, Cabinet is to deliberate on a draft National Strategic Action Plan to eliminate gender-based violence in Jamaica. And the government has also launched the Generation Initiative, aimed at bringing youth up to date with gender-based violence issues. The government has made providing effective social inclusion for all Jamaicans its mission as it continues to work at making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
In 2013 also saw the government making major strides to reform Jamaica's economy. A part of this process, our leaders met with stakeholders to engage them in the way forward. Take a look now at highlights of a major economic reform conference which was conducted by the Ministry of Finance.
This ERP Stakeholders Conference is the first of 2 major fora aimed at updating a broad cross-section of the nation on the government's economic reform program. The participants have come from the counties of Middlesex, Surrey, and from a wide range of organizations and groups: national, community, private sector, government, and non-government organizations.
Whilst government has to lead by way of its 3 generic roles of enabling, facilitating, and servicing, the country needs all hands on deck to get it where it wants to and must go. My administration entered into this agreement fully aware of the drastic measures which had to be taken to address the problem of our unsustainable debt to GDP ratio and to stabilize our balance of payments situation.
We cannot approach that task with any hope of success unless we are able to be absolutely candid, absolutely open, and indeed all focused on the same objective as a country. And it is also important that we recognize that there is no short-term solution to the problem. The second main objective of the program is to achieve growth, to raise the real level of growth of the gross domestic product, so that over time we can answer and meet the legitimate expectations of the Jamaican people for jobs, for an improved quality of life, which has eluded us for many decades.
By March of next year, too, we would have advanced the comprehensive tax reform agenda, which is intended to generally reduce taxes across the board and induce growth.
I'm with GIS, but it's not an immediate question. I also am a part of the Jamaica Youth Ambassadors Program, specifically for disabilities. And the Minister was mentioned, well, the Prime Minister was mentioned in terms of the fact that, of course, the most vulnerable, which includes the disabled, will be affected because of the economic reforms that are taking place. I just have a suggestion, because I was talking to Senator Morris earlier, and he's aware of some of the programs in place for the disabled community. And you earlier, last month, Minister Thwaites had a job fair for the teachers. I was thinking that why not possibly have like a job fair for persons with disabilities across the regions. And because of the fact that we may not have the funding to offer employment opportunities for them, have the private sector come in to these job fairs, engage these persons with disabilities, and have a database created as well, where these persons can gain suitable employment.
I know when I was at Ministry of Labor, we had persons with disabilities working at the ministry. It is something that we'll have to examine whether we're not maintaining that relationship in terms of the percentage of persons with disabilities employed to the government ministries and agencies.
A number of our students completed their tertiary education, and we see coming through the students who have been experiencing numerous challenges. Some of us can't find work, and even if some of us do find work, it's a difficulty in meeting our daily needs. So my question is there any plans in the short term to lower the interest rate at the students who are here?
We certainly are prepared to look at the interest rate profile for the student loan bureau. We are looking at ways in which we can incentivize greater participation from private financial institutions in providing educational loans. Yes, among the options we're looking at is the affordability of interest rates.
I have a concern. Business people today are very challenged with the current economic environment. And as it stands, manufacturers are still facing numerous difficulties on a daily basis, accessing their foreign exchange to pay their overseas suppliers. What is being done from the banking side to be able to assist manufacturers to carry on their businesses?
It's well understood that there are challenges in meeting foreign exchange, and let's just remind us all that we are running a very substantial current account deficit in the balance of payments. which means that we are actually buying more than we are selling. And so we have to find money to meet that gap. What was described by the questioner is effectively rationing of foreign exchange. There is no good reason for any dealer to be rationing foreign exchange. There is a competitive market. There are many, many participants. In that context, I would urge persons facing this to seek as many other participants who might sell them foreign exchange and maximize your opportunities there.
We have an enormous task on our hands to reduce the debt, secure economic growth, and protect the vulnerable. However, none of those three objectives can be attained unless those who carry the full weight of the adjustment burden have hope that actions are being taken in their interest. With your support, I have every confidence that as a united country, we shall overcome our challenges.
We must all stop blaming each other. Teachers blaming parents, parents blaming teachers, everybody blaming the ministry. Let it be clear, Mr. Speaker, we will not be grooming children towards same-sex unions, and we will not be distributing condoms in schools.
Good nutrition is very important for our students to learn.
This is not a once-off occasion. We want to set up a special division that looks at the availability in the teaching profession.
Those and more undertaken by the Ministry of Education in 2013. The Year in Review inside Jamaica Magazine.
We must charge of the change in our sphere and hold ourselves accountable. This is the call to action.
Tomorrow is the start of a new year. Yep, 2014 is right around the corner. It's a time of year when people set resolutions and set out to achieve goals. Yet very often we don't stay committed to these plans. Here are now some ways to aid you in setting and keeping your resolutions for the new year.
A New Year resolution is a commitment that an individual makes to a project or a habit which is often a lifestyle change that is generally interpreted as important to their life. The name New Year resolution comes from the fact that these commitments normally go into effect on New Year's Day and remain until the set goal has been achieved. Sadly, many New Year resolutions go unachieved or are short-lived, if not completely forgotten after they are set. The most important point to consider when deciding on New Year resolutions is decide if you are truly willing to make the change in your life. Deciding to make the change just to have a resolution will not keep you motivated to attain your goal. Many people fail because they are afraid or don't fully realize how the goal can benefit their everyday lives. When you have decided on your New Year resolutions, make a plan of action and list the ways it will improve your life. When you can see the prize, you are more likely to keep up the fight. Popular New Year resolutions are to lose weight, pay off debt, save money, get a better job, get fit, eat right, get a better education, drink less alcohol, quit smoking, reduce stress, take a trip, and volunteer to help others. The most important point to consider when making New Year resolutions is to decide if you are truly willing to make the effort to kick out a bad habit in your life and start a healthy one. Making a decision to change just because it is New Year's Day is not enough to keep you motivated for long. Lasting change means being prepared to make sacrifices. If you are resistant to making the necessary sacrifices, ask yourself why. Many people resist change because they're afraid of the unknown.
Once you have decided that you are ready to make that New Year's resolution and stick to it, you need to develop a plan of action and make that plan a priority. Here are some tips to help you prepare for success. You must determine that bad habits that keep you from optimal success, such as smoking, drinking, or overeating, do not have to follow you into the new year. You must prepare yourself psychologically to change if you don't want them hanging around for another 12 months. You must focus on realistic goals with measurable results. You need to break things down into small steps that you can manage. If your goal is too big, you will feel defeated before you even get started. The key to achieving your most lofty goals is to get started immediately. Remember that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. People often think that they should wait until they are motivated to start doing something good for themselves, but experts say it does not work that way. Experts agree that no matter how stubborn a habit you have developed, there are ways to break negative patterns and keep healthy resolutions throughout the new year.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, water suffer.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the hyping. You think I saw? We reach our aging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
In 2014, I hope to exercise at least 3 times a week. What do you hope to achieve in the new year?
Achieve a new job and doing my CXC subject and I pass, come out by due time and I pass my exam.
Anyway, I want to pay off all my bills and be healthy.
To achieve health and strength and be able to pay my bills.
To live a better life and just accept God in my life, you know, all that more in my life. I have some more money to spend.
I want to achieve a house and then make things better for me and my kids and things.
Need some work, money, and all those things to achieve whatever you need to achieve.
My plan is actually to go back to work, but my achievement is finish college. So that's my plan for New Year's for now.
Blessings and prosperity for me and for the country.
That's it for Jamaica Magazine today. Thank you for watching and hope you found the program instructive and informative. We'd like to hear from you, so send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Please follow us on Twitter @JIS News and visit our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the hard-working team here at JIS, I'm Audrey Williams, wishing you and your family a prosperous and blessed 2014 when it comes. This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.